How do I know if my deed was recorded? This is a great question many first-time buyers ask. After closing, they've wired in the funds, especially if they're working with a closing attorney or closing agent that they haven't worked with before. They might be naturally suspicious. I mean, the money's there. They've signed, they have signed closing documents from the seller, so they have a signed deed from the seller, and supposedly it's been sent off to the county clerk's office to be recorded, but they check online, they Google property search Miami, they look up the property address in public records, and they still see that the former owner's name is listed on the property. So what's going on? And people start to panic at this stage. After a few days, they don't hear anything, and they're like, wait a minute, did I just wire in money to someone who absconded with it, or what's going on? Well, let us go over an example. We have a sample general warranty deed. Obviously, it's been edited with fake names, but just to show you what it looks like. So, after you close, you will generally get a set of usually notarized documents back. And for example, the general warranty deed or other forms of deed will be signed by the sellers typically. It'll be notarized, so you'll see this at closing and you'll get a copy of this, but you will have to wait for it to be recorded. So typically the closing attorney or closing agent, for example in Florida, will send it right away after closing to the county clerk's office to be recorded. Now, it will take perhaps a week, 2 weeks typically, for a closing attorney to send you back a copy of the recorded documents. So if you take a look at the top right, you'll see this section here, 4 lines on the top right, and the 4th line says Harvey Reuven, Clerk of Court, Miami-Dade County. So Harvey Reuven is the clerk of court for Miami-Dade, and this sort of stamp, these 4 lines, indicate that it has been recorded by the county clerk's office in Miami-Dade. So a good closing attorney will remember to follow up with you, say a week or 2 later when they get this back, and they will send you typically an electronic copy showing you, giving you peace of mind that, hey, here is the recorded document. Now at this stage, you may again go online, you may search property, search Miami, you take a look at the online property records, and you still don't see your name listed as the owner. This can be quite scary for some. So let's do an example. You do property search Miami, you go to the property appraiser's website, and you desperately look for your address. Let's do an example at the popular Biscayne Beach building condominium. It's in Edgewater, right on the water. Let's do a random unit number, okay. You take a look, and let's say hypothetically you closed 2 weeks ago now, and you're very curious because it still says the previous owner is the owner, and nowhere do you see your sale information. So this is what we're talking about. This is a very common occurrence. And what you have to realize is that because the office, the county clerk office, I mean, they are all quite backed up these days, especially with the Miami property market being as hot as it is. It can take multiple weeks and sometimes even a month or 2 for it to show up, even if you have gotten back this recorded deed, but for it to be reflected in the online systems of the county. So be patient, trust that who you're working with is legitimate. You can always make yourself feel better by working only with a closing attorney that and trust. And at least in Miami-Dade County, the norm is for the buyer to pay title insurance, but because the buyer pays title insurance in Miami-Dade County, the buyer also gets to choose the closing attorney. So therefore, you can choose someone that you've worked with before who is trustworthy, where you won't have scare issues like this. And remember, even if for some reason you haven't worked with the closing attorney before, you can always look them up. Even real estate brokers in Florida are required to submit their fingerprints to get licensed. So the regulations here in Florida are actually pretty strict. People have their fingerprints, even the brokers, notaries, of course, and of course, lawyers have an even tougher process going through the bar exam and everything. So you can always look up any of these people. Let's do an example. Let's say it's a it's a title insurance or closing agent you haven't worked with before. Take a look at them. Let's say you look up this closing agent, you see their first name, last name. You can take a look, compare it with the address that you see that they have listed, make sure it's the same person. You can see that they have a valid license, and then they have active appointments with various title insurance companies. So these title insurance companies are on the hook if they write an insurance policy as their authorized agent. So these are just additional steps. You can do something similar to look up the real estate brokers to make sure they're validly licensed and such. So these are just some additional steps you can take to make yourself feel a bit safer. So there you have it. We hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please hit like or subscribe. Leave us a comment if you have any questions. We do like to get back to our viewers. And of course, if you're looking to buy or sell property in New York or Florida, we are live in both states. We can help you save 2% or more when you buy a home through a buyer agent commission rebate. And we can help you save up to all 6% in broker commission when selling a home through our agent assisted FSBO service. And also we have a full service option as well for 1% listing fee. So please hit us up, www.houseit.com. Check us out if you have any questions. We'd love to work with you. And my name is Chris at Houseit. Thank you so much for your time.